Hello. Oh, you guys get to wait right there. You get to wait for it. No wonder. It's Paul Zigo. Everybody's favorite salty truth teller is here. America's #1 salty truth teller. Paul Zigo, the undeniable champion of salt, the Sultan of salinity. Iodized to perfection. Ooh, now that's salty. Oh man, can I tell you guys something? Being salty is actually pretty goddamn fun. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. All right, being salty is kind of fun. You don't have to put on this like false sense of like I've got it together that everybody puts together, puts on in this country. Everybody puts on this false face of I've got it all handled. When you're salty, you don't have to put on you don't have to put on that face. You can just be what you are. Ever thought that Paul's ego doesn't fit you anymore? Like when you get a nickname as a kid and it sticks, but you just go with it? I mean, I don't know, dude. Paul's ego is as identifiable to me as a moniker as Paul Parkey is. If somebody yelled Paul's ego in public, I'd look just as quick as if somebody said Paul Parkey in public. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are you going to do? Paul's ego. Paul's ego. Hello there, Paul's ego. How are you? I got a long ass recording day today. and long, long motherfucker. Woo! Trying to figure you out, Paul Zico. Being a little thick hair. Trying to figure you out. I'm trying to figure you out, Paul Zico. Trying to figure you out. It is a windy day today. It's only going to be 72 degrees today. Oh, fucking A, man. It's 80 here in Michigan. It's getting hot as fuck here in Tejas. Not here in California. It's going to be 72 degrees today here in beautiful, sunny, Golden, California. A 100 degrees in New Jersey? How the fuck are you guys, man? Maybe climate change has created a climate shift where California is going to start getting all the amazing weather that everybody else bitches about, and we're going to give you the fucking triple digits. Right, but I mean Iowa, California, right? If you're going to be in 72, you may as well be in California 72. Fuck Iowa. What do you do with a 72 degree day in Iowa? You know what I mean? I'm expecting some snow again today. Wish I had some Cali weather. Yeah. It's 15 here in British Columbia. Jesus. Well, yeah, California's dry as fuck, but best weather. 70 with a breeze. It's probably not even 70 yet. It's supposed to top out at 72 today. I bet it's like a stiff 68 right now, 67. Breezy. God damn, son. I said, God damn. I'm off that goo. I didn't come to get lit, I came to get loose. When it comes to them chickens, I never let hoes in my coop. I fucked up and spilled all this Gucci all over my shoes. And you know that it's true. I'm off of that goop. Ah! Oh, shit. Oh, it's coming together. It's coming together in my mind now that I've allowed myself to just admit that I'm going to make this song first. Oh, it's coming together. How did you waste time at work when you had nothing to do? That was very rare back in the days. I did not work jobs where there was a whole lot of nothing to do. So that was very rare. At Starbucks, I used to spend my time just like goofing around with people at Starbucks, I guess. We had like a dead ass day and we were caught up on everything and we had our crew there, we'd joke around or whatever. And then at the school district, during the very, very rare occasion where I had all my shit done and didn't have any work to do the rest of the day. I mean, I usually spent that way more proactively. You know what I mean? I'd go like, okay, well, let me get ahead of the game then, and I'd go and visit some teachers that I knew were problematic, that had constant problems, and, do some maintenance on the servers that I hadn't had time to do and shit. So I really don't have an example of me goofing off a whole lot at work. I didn't work the types of jobs that supported a whole lot of fucking goofiness. And I didn't keep the jobs that I had for the length of time that I kept them goofing off at work, you know what I mean? You've never seen Santa Cruz? I bought this in Santa Cruz. That's like fucking the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard, bro. Like, what is this? What's that call out? What recourse, if any, did you have with problematic teachers who refused to learn? Hashtag no confidence. Not really much. I mean, if a principal showed interest, like I had one principal who showed a genuine interest. Well, maybe not one. I had two principals over the course of the time that I worked for the school district, and I moved around to different schools. I wasn't at the same school. So I bumped into two principals who had a genuine commitment to their teachers being trained and using their technology. And when those principals, who were technically my bosses, like they were the closest thing to my supervisor that I interacted with every day, right? So I was supposed to do with the technology what they wanted done with the technology. And so if I had a principal, like the couple of principals that I had that gave a fuck about technology and their teachers being properly trained in its usage, it's not like I would snitch, but I would give them updates on how teachers were doing and shit. Like I would tell them, like, Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so is having a lot of problems with their board, and it seems to not be problems with the fucking technology. It seems to be problems with the end user. And then a lot of times those fucking principals, instead of busting the teachers, it wasn't about tattling on the teachers. It was about getting a hold of those teachers and setting them up some time with me. So like 2 or 3 or 4 teachers that are problematic on campus that aren't using the technology, do an after-school training with me that's set up by the fucking principal. It's mandated by the principal, so nobody can get mad at me about it. You know what I mean? So that's about all the recourse I had. I was not in a position of authority at all over anybody or anything other than the maintenance of the network. I have no idea what teachers got paid in my school district. You'd have to ask a teacher. my pay came out to something like $22 an hour, which was pretty goddamn good money. Not like you're going to get wealthy money, but you know what I mean? Enough money to fucking live on at the time when I worked there. Are there any teachers where as soon as you saw their name on a ticket, you rolled your eyes? Of course. Of course. I mean, like I said, amongst the schools that I serviced, I traveled around and moved to different schools year to year and stuff. So I wasn't solidly at just one school or one group of schools. I had 3 schools the whole time I was there, and those schools would change around depending on the needs and shit, right? Like I was good at certain things. Like they would send me to schools that had a like customer service breakdown, because I was really good at talking to the teachers and contextualizing how busy we were and how hard we were working. And so I was better as a people person than an actual tech. And so they would send me to schools. They knew I was competent as a tech. I could keep up with the fucking help desk, but they knew I would be better at interfacing with the principals and the teachers. So they would send me to schools that were developing a negative relationship with the technology services department. Over the summer was actually one of our most hardworking times as technologists, because having nobody in the classrooms gave us the ability to do huge tech jobs that we didn't have time or the ability to do when there's kids in the classroom. So that my job ramped up in the summer. So I actually used to look forward to the school year getting started and shit, because my job hit a more even keel. During the summer, I busted my fucking ass twice as hard, because there was nobody in the classes, nobody in the school. So moving computers around, setting up brand new computer labs. Like my typical summer used to involve the setting up of at least 3 50-machine computer labs, which if you're a networking person or any kind of a tech person, you know that's when you're talking about wiring, setting up, imaging all the machines, putting them on the network properly, getting them registered, blah, 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 all that fucking shit. And doing imaging the machine is running the install package to put all the shit on it, and then testing to make sure that environment is clean, set up, ready to fucking go as soon as kids sit down in it. That's like a month-long job, especially if you've got multiple sites that you're doing it at. Then you talk about like schools spending millions of dollars on brand new machines, but you've got old Blueberry fucking iMacs in the classroom. These fucking 70-pound monster iMacs and eMacs in the classroom. And the schools are in the process of getting rid of all this shit and consolidating it in different ways, the older technology, and putting newer technology in the classrooms. That shit rolled out during the summer. So my job during the summer was showing up at like 7:30 in the morning and unboxing fucking flat screen iMacs all day long, wiring them up, cleaning up the wiring so it wasn't hanging down, getting them on the network, getting them imaged, moved to the next fucking box. I used to have stacks of hundreds of these fucking PCs that had to be distributed and replaced all over campus. So, yeah, summer sucked. Let's put it that way. I didn't move sites super often. Like I was pretty steady at one school for most of the time when I was there. And then I'd probably say I bounced schools probably 3 times in the 8 years or so that I was at the school district. So I would say I bounced schools, like probably 3 separate times where I would drop a school and pick up a new school. It was always presented to me as, this school has a problem with so-and-so who's been working there, and it's turned into a sour environment, and we need you to go in there and put a smile on their faces and shit. And it would be like, all right, here we go. Hearing about Bezos buying a $500 million yacht has got you feeling down. Why not, man? His yacht needs a yacht, bro. He's living the American dream, and you, sir, are just a temporarily embarrassed Jeff Bezos. If you work hard enough and you apply yourself, you too can have a yacht with a yacht. Yeah, use it as inspiration. It's like thinspo. You know what I mean? Or women look at women with unattainable body ideals and then hate themselves forever and never attain that ideal. It's like that, but with money. Yeah, if you work really hard and apply yourself, Jeff Bezos himself will get to buy yet another yacht for his yacht. He's already got the world's first mega yacht that has a yacht. What if the yacht that his mega yacht has decides it needs a yacht? What's going to happen then? Where does it end, right? The support yacht is like, you know what we could really use? A fucking support yacht for the support yacht. Now, asking about dislikes here is a really good way to get banned, especially when we're in the middle of talking about something else that actually matters. Just to remind people, go ahead and dislike this stream hard. Everybody that's in here watching right now, all 108 of you, go hit the dislike button on this stream and show people how much I give a fuck about a dislike ratio, please. Unsheathe the Sith Saber. Good afternoon, Paul. I've got a Dungeon Master's Guide. I've got a 12-sided die. I've got Kitty Pride and Nightcrawler too, waiting there for me. Yes, I do. I do. I've got posters on the wall. My favorite rock group, Kiss. I've got Ace Frehley. I've got Peter Criss waiting there for me. Yes, I do. I do. In the garage, I feel safe. No one cares about my ways. In the garage where I belong, no one hears me sing this song. In the garage. That is In the Garage by Weezer off of the Blue album. Brilliant fucking album, by the way. Cover to cover. Blink 182 vibes? Nah, not really. You gotta listen to the song. Weezer has like heavy surf rock vibes mixed with like kind of like post grunge guitars. Like you have to listen to them. They've got a hard edge to them with a melodic fucking kind of singer. Really love Weezer, especially fucking early Weezer. Pinkerton is great as well. How long does it usually take you to memorize a new song? Depends on the song. There are some songs I'll hear them one time and I can sing probably about half of them after hearing them one time. And there are some songs I've got to listen to like 10 times before they sink into my brain. I've got a facility for lyrics. I've got a big... Well, if you listen to Weezer, I'm not saying Weezer is considered heavy. I'm saying Weezer is considered... Like, I consider Weezer heavy in comparison to Blink. If you listen to their fucking guitars, super fuzzed out, heavy, drop D tuning guitars with heavy fuzzed out metal kind of esque bass lines and shit with a surf rock vibe draped over the top of it. Weezer's a great fucking band. They didn't sound like anybody else. They really didn't. Yeah, I was in a couple of bands when I was young. Apple Nasty and Government Fun with a question mark. Government Fun? That's how you have to say it. Apple Nasty and Government Fun? If you say Government Fun, I wasn't in that band. I was in Government Fun? I'm totally the opposite with music lyrics. They just don't stick with me. That's cool. Like, a lot of people are more into the melody and beat of a song than they are the lyrics. I'm a very lyrically focused person, and so the lyrics almost matter more than the song itself to me. A song can be stripped down almost completely and just performed as a vocal song, and I'll love it. So lyrical content is important to me. Now, that's not meaning that I can't appreciate stripped down simple lyrics. I'm just saying the lyrics of a song are important to me. I go out of my way to learn them if I like them. Yeah, Kurt Cobain hated his lyrics, and he thought he really wished that people would focus more on the actual music. I remember him saying that in some of his interviews and shit, that to him the music was more important than the lyrics. But I think that was more of a reflection of his kind of self-deprecating nature. Kurt was known to be a ruthless self-critic when it came to his poetry and his writing and shit, and so... I mean, the lyrics are a huge component of Nirvana's vibe. Is TJ upset over the Manson allegations? I mean, probably not in the way that you think he is, but I can't imagine it feels good to be like a mega fan of a currently working artist, and to see them, come up against the kind of scrutiny that Manson is undergoing. I can't imagine it's like TJ's happy about it, but I don't think he's like wringing his hands over it either. Thanks, Tucker. Woo. Manson allegations are pretty sus. I don't know, dude. I haven't looked into it enough to say what's sus or what isn't sus. TJ says he has. TJ was saying that he's working on a big fucking Manson defense video. It's still in the works. I don't know if that'll ever happen. We shall see. Looking good, Paul. Why, thank you, Sully. He seems more annoyed with how the media is covering it, publishing actual false allegations and then not taking them down. But yeah, I can't know for sure until the vid drops. Trying to get those backstage passes. I don't know, dude. Like I said, I'm typically a dude that when shit happens with a fucking celebrity, unless it's like nuclear level shit, I don't even fucking tune into it. It's not to say that I don't care when a celebrity victimizes somebody. It's just that I know that I don't play a role. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do to play a role in the helping of those victims other than when it comes up to give them the benefit of the doubt and to advocate for them having their day in court. You know what I mean? But beyond that, I can't go back and erase my appreciation for the art that that artist has made. I can't go back and unwatch every Weinstein Company movie. You better go back and rewind yourself and unwatch every goddamn fucking Quentin Tarantino film that's ever been made. You know what I mean? You better go back and experience every Michael Jackson album that you've ever heard. I just don't operate on that level. And so when celebrities get caught up or gaffled up doing shitty shit, I note it. I go like, oh, but it doesn't change what I do. You know, I don't go following it like a crazy fucking mad person. I figure, you know, okay, well, these allegations are out there. These people have their chance at fucking, you know, getting hurt or whatever. Let me go throw on Hollywood and listen to that shit. That reminds me, I haven't listened to some Manson in a while. I'm going to throw on some Hollywood. Who the fuck cares? Separate art from the artist, right? It's your favorite Manson album. It's the best Manson album, so it should be. Sometimes you have to draw a line like with Harvey Weinstein. What do you mean draw a line? What are you going to do? Not ever watch a Tarantino film again? You know, Harvey Weinstein created Quentin Tarantino. Discovered him, financed his early work, backed his production company, a band apart. Harvey Weinstein made those movies. You gonna go unwatch them? Like, what do you mean you gotta draw a line? Harvey Weinstein isn't gonna be making movies anymore. He's in fucking prison. Funnily enough, I just learned that Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers admittedly slept with a 14-year-old twice when he was 23. Creep Show Art made a video today. That's what I'm talking about, man. And when it comes to like fucking musicians, if you want to find dirt like that, you're going to find it on so many fucking groups and so many fucking rock and rap and fucking hip hop personalities, man. It just is what it is, man. Groupie culture is a real fucking thing. Pink Eye Paul? Huh? I ain't got no fucking pink eye. Filed it in your head, yeah. Kind of sucks to learn shit like that. Because the Chili Peppers, once again, super iconic band from my fucking teen years. Made some great albums that I still to this day love. Blood Sugar Sex Magic, One Hot Minute. These albums are just fucking great. So it does kind of suck to hear that. It sucks to hear that Anthony Kiedis might be kind of a piece of shit in real life. But is that going to keep me from popping some fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers on the next time I'm feeling it? Nah. Nah, it ain't. Their music feels timeless because they sounded so fucking unique. That's the great thing about being utterly unique in the way that you present yourself. And being unique doesn't mean that you aren't influenced by things that came before you. Being unique means that you interpret it in a way that is so uniquely your sound that you can't be fucking mistaken for somebody else. And the Chili Peppers defined a fucking sound in the 90s and in the early 2000s of this fuzzed out psychedelic funk rock / dream rock, and it's just immediately recognizable as them. Even when their sound changed, it changed to something that was immediately attributable to them, immediately recognizable to them. Chili Peppers music still holds. Yeah, of course it does. True, the rockstar lifestyle is riddled with impropriety. It's just now more people seem to be weaponizing it. Look, I'm not making excuses for that shit. Like, recently on the show, we were talking about how a dork named Jeff Holiday was talking about how everybody in the original DP crew was a man whore because there's some drama shit going on. Speaking out of fucking class on me. All right, so this idea that every rock star is out there finger banging every groupie that comes around is just fucking false. So I'm not making excuses for shitty fucking behavior. Not at all. And I think that, you know, when shit like that goes down, people ought to come forward and people ought to be held to account for it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to pop a record in and listen to it. Sorry. That's beyond my line. He did say the old days. He may have meant pre-Paul, maybe. My name was all in his mouth, though, from what I hear, so. Is what it is, bro. It's just like, don't misunderstand me. Don't get me twisted. I had money and shit, but I wasn't all up in people's DMs creeping on them and shit. And that just ain't my fucking thing. I was with one person. I didn't step outside of that relationship. The entire time I was on Drunken Peasants. From the very first fucking episode that I appeared on. Well, I was married then. Got a divorce. Started dating somebody else. Got hired full time on the fucking show. And dated that very same person through the entirety of my tenure on DP. And into like two years of my tenure on DFF. So this idea that everybody that has a following or an audience immediately fucking jumps in feet first with the fucking, you know, like dicking around fans and shit. I don't do that. I don't respond to people. And I'm not trying to brag about it here, but people come at me in a suggestive way all the fucking time. It's one of the reasons why I don't even bother checking my DMs. But I don't fucking respond to that shit. I'm married. I don't fuck around. Monogamy, Paul. I'm just saying, like, for me, And I'm not trying to fucking stand in judgment of people either. You know what I mean? But for me, my little brush with fame, which being on the Drunken Peasants was probably the height of that shit. That show was huge at its peak, and I was part of that show full time at its peak. I don't do that shit. I don't take part in that shit. I don't respond to that shit. I'm not looking to capitalize on that shit. It doesn't interest me. The Milo thing put a spotlight on me. Oh, for sure. Don't know if I missed it in a previous stream, but commentary encouragement regarding, sorry for bringing him up, Vaush raising almost 300K during 24-hour live stream for Palestinian kids relief. Honestly, fucking hats off to Vaush. That's some direct action that I can get behind. To be honest with you, hats off to Vaush's community more than anything for putting their money where their mouth is. I mean, Vaush was a good guy to run it and shit, and I give him props for doing direct action and shit, but really hats off to his fucking community for stepping up, and because that's a big fucking number. That money's going to make an impact in Palestine. So good on him. Good, like, that's a flex I can get behind. Hope to see him do more of it. Yeah, no, like, mad respect. Like, I'm not gonna find a way to contextualize or poop on direct action that goes to a fucking charitable organization that I looked into and believe in. And 300K is a motherfucking huge number that could make a lot of difference for a lot of people in the Gaza Strip. So good on him for doing that shit. Good on the people that fucking came out of pocket for that shit during these hard economic times. For sure. You have to be sus at charities. You have to be smart about choosing charities. And from what I can tell, Vaush was really smart about the charity that he chose. You can never be 100% sure. Thank you for being consistent with your statements, Paul. Not that I doubted it, of course. You're never going to catch me, like, fucking on somebody for doing something that I consider good. I mean, no. I have my ideological disagreements with Vaush, but when he and his community hand $300,000 to a charity that's for the relief of the suffering of Palestinian children in the midst of this crisis, fucking A, man, we're on the same team. That's all lefties have to do to get solidarity from me, is make actual change and act like actual fucking leftists, and that's what I'll do. I'll be behind you 100% of the way if you're out there doing good. Do good and advocate for other people doing such, and you and I are fucking, we're allies, right? I respect Paul's veracity and consistency with his ideas and arguments, even if it's not stuff I agree with or like to hear. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you at least hearing me out. The problem with many charities is that a tiny percent of the money actually goes to those it's intended for. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where the picking a good charity comes in. That's where looking at a charity's fucking financial statements, which if you're a fucking nonprofit organization, you have to disclose your financials. So There's no black box charities. So it's really up to you to do the homework on how much of this charitable donation goes to overhead, and how much of it actually hits the ground in the form of aid and relief. And there's absolutely no way to have an organization like this, by the way, with no overhead. So this idea that you give money to a charity and some of the people that run the charity take it is not a problem. If they weren't there, there wouldn't be a funnel for that money to this cause. The idea is, do they funnel more money to the cause or to themselves? And that's on you to do the homework for. You can look at the efficacy of these charities in a number of places, and you can vet these charities. If their job is running a fucking charitable organization, I don't have a problem with that. People got to have food on their plate and shit. But if they're getting rich running a charity, we got problems. The charity Vaush picked had a never heard of before 100% transparency score on some of the charity observers. Yeah. There are charity aggregators and charity watch websites that'll vet these charities. I looked into the charitable organization that Vaush was donating to. And I was on vacation while he was doing his fucking stream, so I didn't get a chance to donate during his stream. But I plan to make a donation to that charity in solidarity with that, because I vetted the charity and it looks very good. So. I'll toss a few bucks its way. It seems like a good cause. And as far as it can be tracked, the charity seems like a very, very good organization. So I'll make that commitment to you guys and I'll let you know about it. And if you didn't get a chance to catch the live stream like I didn't, maybe you go check out the thing, throw $5 that way. And maybe instead of throwing it to me today, you go throw it there. You know what I mean? Always try to donate as directly as possible, less middlemen, help your neighbor, etc. Well, I mean, that can be dangerous, Jessica. Donations directly to homeless people are actually damaging, or can be damaging, because they typically feed a cycle of self-medication and drug abuse. So when you see a homeless person begging for change on the side of the road, and they are very visibly strung out, you are much better off giving that $5 that you might have dropped in their cup to the local fucking homeless shelter or a food bank or an organization that provides mental health services for free. So you have to be careful with direct donation, like putting money directly in the hands of people, because money does not solve problems. People solve problems. Money is a means to an end to solve a problem, but it can create more problems than it solves. Everybody knows that. Anybody that's had money and then had it go through their fingers knows what I'm talking about, right? It comes and it goes, and it's a transient thing. It's people that help people. A lot of times, and I'm not trying to shit on homeless people or perpetuate a stereotype, a lot of times homeless people that have these signs that say homeless and hungry, if you bring them food, they'll fucking look at you like you're crazy. I actually experienced this firsthand, and this is anecdotal. When I was a kid, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because there's a point to it. My mom and I used to go grocery shopping together a lot. She'd take me along when she would go grocery shopping when I was a kid, while she was pregnant with my little sister. So I would have been 3 or 4 years old when this happened. It's a very, well, actually, my little sister was born when this happened. She was a baby. She was in the fucking cart. So I'd have been 5, 6, something like that. We went to the grocery store that we always went to that was closest to our house where we lived in Central California. And there was a woman out front with a sign panhandling, and it said, you know, something like homeless, hungry, anything helps. And she's standing out in front of a grocery store, right? And so I remember seeing her, and me and my mom both were softies for shit like that. And so my mom told me to help her pick out some things that woman could eat and keep that wouldn't go bad. And one of those things is fried chicken. Fried chicken is great. You know, you can't like in perpetuity keep it, but it's something that you can hold on to during the day, and it's sustaining. So we got her a few pieces of fried chicken and some biscuits, which is another thing that, you know, you get them wrapped up and stuff. We went to the little deli inside of the grocery store. We got her some fried chicken. We got her some biscuits. We got her some bottled water or something to drink, I remember. Just things that would keep. And we made like a bag of groceries that would have been easy for her to carry, and it would have given her a meal for a day or two, right? And my mom actually let me take it to her. So I took the bag up to the lady and I handed it to her, and she looked at me and then looked at my mom, and she says, "I don't want this. I need money." And basically just outright refused to even take the bag of food. And my mom said, "Oh," and took the bag of food, and we got in the car. I'll never forget that shit. Long as I live, I'll never forget that shit. So you are much better off giving your money to an organization that oversees and tries to care for these people than giving it directly to them. I've been in a position that's similar to that, Jessica, and I was so fucking grateful I can't even tell you. I've told you guys that story. There was a period of time where I was living on ramen. I was not eating well. I didn't have the money to. I just started at Starbucks. I didn't know what I was doing with my money, and I was just barely fucking making it, man. And the lady that owned and operated that soul food restaurant saw me out there, knew I wasn't eating well, and gave me a whole ass meal. And I accepted it and thanked her so fucking profusely every time I saw her that she probably never forgot me, and I definitely never forgot her. You know what I mean? And so it just shows you that you have to be careful with how you donate, period. Because sometimes those things can do more harm than good. Instant noodles should be called instant cancer. Dude, ramen fucking sustains. I heard the phrase Chandler Starbucks on the news the other day, but I don't remember the context. Well, there you go. Had to turn off the stream. There might be multiple Starbucks in Chandler now. I started in the year 2000 there. So the one I worked in was in Chandler and Dobson Boulevard, right on the corner. And there's like a strip mall there. The assholes ruin it for others. I was denied gas money while begging. They wouldn't even give me 25 cents. It is what it is, man. You have to fucking be careful, because that gas money story that you had could have very easily been a fucking cover for you to go get crack or some shit. You have to understand, Jessica, that your fucking pure intentions don't allot for everybody, right? And so it would have been better off if there was some kind of mutual aid organization in your area that helped people that were on the road, where you could have gotten some fucking gas allotted to you to get out of town and get where you needed to go and put you on your feet. It would have been better if something like that existed in your town than for people to throw a bunch of money at you. Dude, gas money is 100% suspicious. I mean, you guys have all heard the fucking stories. I have to go see my son. I need money for a bus ticket. Or My car ran out of gas. You got a couple bucks I can put on gas money. Like this type of shit is a hustle. It just is. There's a Key and Peele sketch about this. It's fast becoming something that we're going to be able to say about everything. There's a Key and Peele sketch about this hustle. My brother, my brother, my brother, my brother, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man, my brother, my brother, my brother. Like two hustlers get together and they're trying to hustle each other. Like they go after the same target that ignores them, and then they see each other and they start going after each other with the hustle. You guys seen that one? It's great. I'll tell you what you could do, man. You go over to the ATM and you get out $100, and I will go right now and take care of the business I have to take care of, and I will pick up $150 and I will hand that right back to you, my man. Oh, my man, my man, my man. Listen, I got a better idea. You get out $100. You don't even have to hand it to me. You just give me your card. Let me take it out real quick, and then I'll give you the $100. I'll hand it right to you, and then we split it up. My man, listen. I got hustled one time in Hollywood with a mixtape. I got hustled hard in Hollywood. I almost got in big ass motherfucking trouble. I got like aggressively hustled. I was walking in Hollywood. This was when I was a teenager. So I was like 19 or 20 when this went down. Well, no, I would have been a little older than that, maybe 21. And I'm walking in Hollywood, and this dude runs up on me in the street. Well, he's out in the street, right? And he goes, dude, I'm a struggling artist. I'm a hip hop artist. My name is such and such, DJ so and so, or whatever the fuck it was, right? He gives me this spiel. And he's like, man, I'm just trying to get people to listen to my music. And he hands me this self-burned CD, right? And I'm like, well, fucking hey, dude, I will hella listen to your music. And I was like, stay up, and I started to walk off. And this dude switched like that. He was like, where the fuck are you going? I was like, what's going on? He's like, I just told you I'm trying to get my music out there. You just gonna walk off with my CD? I was like, bruh, you didn't discuss a price. I thought you just said you were trying to get people to listen to your music. Well, yeah, but I didn't. That CD ain't free. I had to pay for the CD. I had to pay to make the music. And I was like, bro, take the CD back. He's like, I don't want it back. I want $5. I want you to support an artist. Starts accosting me in the street. So I just laid it on the ground in front of him and walked away. I was like, all right, bye. They'll get aggressive though, like that with that type of hustle. Like people will get aggressive in certain places. And that's a common hustle. I'm like the implication I'm giving you something for free, and then you start to walk off with it, and it's like, whoa, 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 you're in public, and they try and act like you're ripping them off in public. It's like a psychological hustle. Because everybody around you hears them say that you're walking off with something and not paying for it from a struggling artist or whatever the fuck, right? And so now they got all this psychological pressure on you, and they'll follow you and shit. That dude followed me for half a block before he decided that I wasn't gonna pay him anything and went back.
I'm sure like locals are probably less reactive to that. Like they hear someone like, you ripped me off, and they're like,
they don't even see. But here's the thing, locals. True locals, they don't even fucking look at those people when they try and hand them a CD.
Yeah.
They know the hustle.
No, I know that. I just mean like someone else that looks at them, they're not gonna like go run like, hey, you should go pay that.
Well, that's why they do it in touristy areas. Hollywood is filled with people from all over the fucking world that ain't from Hollywood.
Yeah.
So somebody from Nebraska goes, hey, that guy just ripped a dude off. What's up with that, buddy? Like sometimes they'll get a goddamn somebody from the public to take their side, or have a that acts like just a passerby that goes, hey, this dude ripped a guy off. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, all right, here's $5. You know what I mean? That's the rule. Somebody tries to hand you something, whether it's a leaflet, a CD, a fucking business card, whatever it is, and you're walking in a public touristy place, you don't even fucking, you put your hands up like this. When I walk by those people, I don't make eye contact, and I put my hands up like this, and I just keep walking. They know I ain't taking shit. Nope, nope, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it, don't want it. No eye contact. Learn that lesson the hard way. Yeah, sometimes they'll, like, when I was a kid, I used to get approached by homeless people, and I used to tell them, I'd be like, dude, I'm 16. I don't have any money either. Sorry. Used to burn a couple CDs with my music and hand them to random people at parties. Well, that's the thing, is like, there are good-natured people that really do hand out shit for free, but you got to be mindful of the venue, is what I'm saying. If you're walking on fucking Hollywood Boulevard on the Walk of Fame, and some dude tries to hand you a CD, it's not free. Put your hands up and walk by. You want to buy a fucking CD, go to fucking Amoeba Records in Hollywood and buy some local music. Amoeba Records is fucking amazing. Has tons of indie music on the shelves. Just a fucking iconic place to go to get music. So go there and pay $10 and get some indie music. And
There probably wasn't a goddamn thing on the CD if you would listen to it.
who knows? I've actually bought mixtapes from people. If people are straight up about like, hey, I'm selling this for $5, I'm a struggling artist, I might do that. Mm-hmm. And I've done that a couple of times, and both times I took something home that had fucking rap on it. And it wasn't rap that I'd heard. It wasn't somebody else's rap as far as I can tell, you know what I mean? So, but there's different layers to that hustle too. Yeah. Some person could just burn somebody else's fucking indie music and sell it on the street for $5, right? There's no way for me to verify that the dude that I heard on the CD...
He's got a speaker going right there while you're walking.
Or performing it,
yeah.
Right? And then he sells the CD and I can hear that it's the same dude. Yeah. That wasn't the case, you know what I mean? So I might have gotten hustled and bustled for that. But I'm more willing to come out of pocket if somebody's being genuine, like for a street busker, like Phoebe does, right? She sits out on the corner, she plays her guitar and sings. There are people that play violin. There was a dude down at Pismo when we were just there playing the saxophone. Had his little bus cat out, right? And if you sit by and listen, the implication is if you enjoy yourself for a minute or two, you throw a buck in the hat, right? I'm cool with that. That feels like transactional to me. Feels like I got a little something out of it. Your talent enriched my experience for a few minutes. Here's a couple bucks for your trouble. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? And by the way, I don't look down on people who are on the hustle and bustle. I just don't fall for it. I'm not trying to shit on people who resort to these types of tactics. These tactics are an outgrowth of capitalism. These little niches that these people occupy exist because capitalism is an exploitative system and encourages this type of exploitative behavior. Period. And a lot of people are in financial situations where they otherwise maybe wouldn't be doing the hustle bustle, but they've got to do the fucking hustle bustle, right? And I don't look down on the people that take part in the hustle bustle as a rule. I just don't think you ought to fall for it. You know what I mean? I don't fall for it, and I don't think you ought to fall for it. But I can't fault people for being out there trying it. It's a dog-eat-dog fucking planet. The shoe hustle, yeah. I bet you $20 I can tell you where you got your shoes at. All right, I'll take that bet. On your feet, pay me. And then if you don't, this motherfucker welched on a bet, and they got a plant standing next by. Man, you don't welch on a bet in New Orleans, blah, blah, blah. You're gaffled. You better pay or get the fuck out of Dodge. That's why you just say, nope. If you say anything, say nope. One thing I've learned is just say local. That's another thing you can say. Local. 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 It's extortion. Yeah, it is. Yep, local. Local or nope. Or nothing. I mean, either one of those three things will work. Anything else, and you're fucked. Wear a shirt that says not a tourist. I mean, like, dude, if you go to a place that's not like 100% a tourist resort and you dress all touristy and shit, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, bro. Strolling around with a fanny pack and like cargo shorts and an I Heart New York t-shirt, you know, with like a fucking Statue of Liberty hat on and walking around Brooklyn or something, dude, that's never a fucking good idea ever. You know what I mean? Just dress like a normal person. Just wear your normal ass clothes when you go to places and you're fine. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're going to the Bahamas and shit, then maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we went to Pismo and we were both, you know, in our swimsuits and shit, as the locals do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're running around and it's a place that's filled with fucking tourists. It's a place that exists to be a tourist place. Disneyland is another example. You want to run around Disneyland with some Mickey ears on and a fucking Minnie Mouse t-shirt on or whatever, that's the place to fucking do it. You don't go to New York with a fanny pack on. You know, pulled up all high on your high-waisted fucking jean shorts with an I Heart New York t-shirt on. You know what I mean? You just don't. You don't do it. First of all, don't get hustled into buying that shit in New York. Because, like, if you're walking around New York with that on, you've already been hustled. That just shows everybody in that fucking town that might mean you ill or might be looking for marks that you are indeed a mark because you've already been took. You bought an I Heart New York t-shirt. That's like putting a I'm a fucking dupe who'll buy anything t-shirt on. Of course tourist merch is a fucking scam. And I'm talking to you as a guy that's wearing a piece. At least mine is functional. It's a functional piece of goddamn tourist merch, but it's a hustle bustle.
You could have gotten that in 20 other places.
Right. But this is also Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is all about, I brought it on a beach boardwalk. It's a goddamn tourist attraction, right? So people got to understand how this shit works. It's chess. It's not checkers.
Yeah, you just got about an hour before you gotta record them. You got the slick brick?
What?
You got your slick brick done?
Yep. I changed it up, actually. Okay. I woke up and I was like, man, this biography episode, number one, it's going to be so hard to do without being able to listen to any music. I can't rap like Slick Rick. Mm-hmm. Me doing like a cover of Slick Rick is like cringy to me in terms of like trying to cover his life. And so I changed it up. Today's episode, I'll preview it for people. I don't give a fuck.
It's not going to come out for like
It's not going to come out for months, but the episode that I went with is breast shape throughout history.
Oh,
so
yeah, I saw those like bazonga Congos, and you're like,
Yep, dude. Titty shape throughout history and in like women's fashion and how titties have been presented throughout, the 20th century, basically. Pretty interesting. So we'll be talking about titties. Not necessarily the history of the breast, but like the 20th century history of titty shape is what we're going to be looking at.
I don't know why I said Bazonga Congo. I was thinking of like the nuclear
Missile titties?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the picture that came to my mind.
Yeah. I don't know why I said Bazonga Congo.
Now that's what I'm going to call missile titties from now on, is Bazonga Congas. It's just, honestly, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. It's just an excuse to ogle titties. I mean, really, it's an excuse for a bunch of fucking cisgendered white males to sit around and ogle women's bodies and objectify. But you know what? There's a veneer of information.
We've done plenty of episodes to counteract that, too. You did the Clits of Steel 1 and 2.
Of course.
So.
Dude, there's an informational aspect to this episode. You'll learn a little something about, like, the way that fashion trends have changed in the 20th and 21st century. Like, you'll learn a little bit something. You'll also gonna ogle some titties. Why? ¿Por qué no dos? Dude, Mindy has never liked the show, but she loved the Clits of Steel episode. See? Paul's ego.
Yeah.
Reaching out to the women of the world and bringing them into the fold and saying, hello, welcome to Deep Fat Fried, ladies.
I think your women demographics are still under 10% on Deep
Shh.
Fat Fried.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they're not under that,
That's just been where you guys have been.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but it's important to throw the birds some crumbs, of course. TJ needs to make a butt episode.
He has. He made the botched butt implants.
Right. That was a gross butt episode, though.
Yeah.
Thick, jiggly, fat, round, and firm. See, that's on him, though. I'm not going to step into his domain. He needs to do a booty episode, an appreciation episode. That's on him to do. Maybe the episode that I will do today, or one of the episodes that I will record of mine today, will inspire him to do a booty episode. Who knows? Or maybe he's got one today, too. Maybe I'm speaking out of school, and today TJ is going to do a mini-sode on booties. Very rarely am I disappointed in the shows, even if I'm not a fan of the topic. It's always fun to just listen in the background. Anytime I'm cleaning around the house, I just have you guys on. Well, that's cool. No, that's great. Like, I love people who lurk. I love people who listen to the show passively while they're driving or gaming or studying or falling asleep. Like, those people make up a huge swath of our audience. And that's how I consume media, too. So, let's go. I'm happy about that.
Why you're on Spotify.
Yeah. Playing RE Village, and I was listening to Patron Flash Fried. See? Yeah, I'm in a position where I can have this in the background and respond. Nice. I'm one of those people who will play stuff in the background 24/7. I mean, I'm not probably 24/7, but I do, like, when I'm sleeping, I listen to a lot of, like, content, YouTube stuff. Mostly, like, non-YouTube content stuff that's been put up for content, like depositions and trials and that type of shit.
Like that fucking cop running over a quote-unquote deer.
Yeah, no, that was crazy, dude. That deposition was nuts. Started off slow, but so many of them do. and then it just ramped up and got crazier as it went. I've seen so many of the long form depositions that have been put up on YouTube. Like I just found another one that I hadn't watched yet. Deposition of a dude whose last name was like O'Malley, and he was like a. It was great because he was like a confirmed hostile deposition witness or a confirmed hostile deponent.
Yeah.
He had been deposed like something over 10 times in his life.
Yeah.
And knew exactly how to answer questions vaguely and ambiguously so that nothing was admissible in court. Like, didn't even really need his lawyer to object to shit.
Yeah.
He would just be like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is it true, sir, that you have a business at this address? Blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure that's true. Like, sir, I need you to stop responding vaguely. Do you understand a deposition? How many times have you been deposed? I'd say something over 4 times. Under 10, over 10 or under 10. I'm not sure. You know what I mean?
Was he at least creative with it where he didn't just say, I don't recall, like 50 times?
Yeah, he wasn't just because that's another way, but that can be perceived differently. Like you, as a deponent, you've sworn to tell the truth, so your answers are compelled. It's the nuance in your answers that isn't compelled.
Yeah.
And so this lawyer was stymied by this deponent because the deponent was not just going, I refuse to answer. No comment. I declined to answer. Because then you can get hostile with the person and compel testimony. This dude was given testimony. It was just vague, useless testimony. The guy tried to instruct him. He said, sir, you went with a yes or no. Do you understand that? And the dude literally answers like, I'm pretty sure I do. You know what I mean? It's just like the dude was great. It was great. Just found that one. It's a long one too. It's like a 4.5 because this lawyer tried to
find every angle he could.
He was like, sir, all you're doing is lengthening this process, because the dude would like take notes before he would answer a question.
Yeah.
Like the guy would answer a question and the dude wouldn't even answer. He would just start writing. And at one point the guy got tired of it and he goes, sir, are you going to write down every question that I ask you and take notes on every question that I ask you here? Is that your tactic here today in this deposition? And he was like, well, I'm a fastidious note taker. So if you want to get the truth out of me, you're going to have to wait for me to take my notes. That's just the way that I do it. I think I find it valuable as a deponent to have notes. And the guy's like, okay, well, I guess. And then he goes, well, sir, I'm telling you that what you're doing right now is just going to lengthen this process. And the guy's like, oh, I'd rather something be slow and right than fast and incorrect. So the lawyer kept him there for like 6 hours or something, but the dude just fucking gave him nothing.
Yeah.
It's great shit. I love that shit. I love the fucking mental interplay.
I don't know, Pranav, like if you see someone with no profile pic, we're just on straight ban, no explanation.
Yeah, you don't even need to fucking talk to them, Pranav. Just ban them. Knock them the fuck out and move on. It's been a while since Pranav's been in here.
Yeah. No, I'm not like trying to like admonish him or something. Just like,
Yeah.
Don't waste your time explaining anything.
Yeah, we've moved past the explanation point. Just nuke them and don't even pay attention to them. The rules are posted at regular intervals on every goddamn stream, and they're right there for people to read. And if they don't follow the fucking rules, just ban them.
I mean, I guess you could put it in like the default description if you wanted to.
If you won't look at the fucking description. Deponent on YouTube? A deponent is what somebody who's being deposed in a deposition is. The person who is the target of a deposition is the deponent. So what you're looking for is deposition footage on YouTube. And you can find Roger Stone's weird, cracked out deposition in total on YouTube. That's a fun one to watch. I've seen that one multiple times. There's a great deposition, long one, of a guy named Cleo Watts, who was basically a middleman for African scammers. He funneled money from rich investors into these gold scams that never went anywhere. and basically just was like an American middleman for Nigerian gold scammers, basically. Well, in his case, it was Sierra Leone and Guinea.
The one that had like the church as its front, or
No, that's a different one.
okay.
That's so there's another great deposition on YouTube of a guy named, he goes by the Apostle. I'm trying to remember.
Apostle.
David Taylor.
Yeah.
And it's a deposition in a divorce case where he was a deponent because the woman in the divorce case had donated over $1 million to his church. And so it allowed wide latitude for the attorneys to probe the legitimacy of his business. And that's a fucking amazingly weird deposition to listen
It's
to.
so interesting that they can have that much latitude on something that you think would be unrelated.
No, I mean, and they dig and they make insinuations and they talk about properties and they basically reveal some of the inner workings of how his scam funnels money.
Those big churches, mega churches.
Right. And that's what he is. He still works that way to this day. He runs one of these big prosperity gospel traveling mega churches. Is a multi-millionaire that claims he takes like a $24,000 a year salary, but sweats through a Gucci suit every fucking 3 months. Literally says that in the deposition. They go through some of the expenses that his ministry has made, and one of them was like thousands of dollars at Gucci directly in Italy. And they were like, what is this for? And he was like, those are my suits. And she's like, do you think that your parishioners would be happy to know that the money that they donate to your church goes towards you wearing Gucci suits? Like, why don't you go to Sears and get a suit? Well, those kind of suits are insufficient for the type of work that I do. I need very high quality clothing. And I sweat through my clothes very quickly. And so I need to get the more expensive clothes because... And then they go through and they say, in 2003, JMMI paid $700,000 to have a Cadillac Escalade stretched into a limo. Do you remember this? Yes. What was that for? Well, when we have pastors that visit and dignitaries and such, we have to have a car that is worthy of picking them up in to bring them to the ministry house. Fucking crazy. You're just sitting there listening to this shit like...
Yeah. And he's just one of them.
He's just one dude. He just happens to have a deposition that was made public.
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes are never deposed. Crazy shit. That Indian guy, Benny Hinn, who had a golden shirt made, yes. One of the memes from that David Taylor Apostle deposition is Axe Michelle. He basically throws this woman that's in his business under the bus. Like in this, like they'll catch him in a fucking contradiction or ask him a tough question and he'll say, I wouldn't know anything about that. You would need to ask Michelle on that.
I got another pack in there, baby.
Oh, sure. No, it's all good.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the best one for people to start with if they really want to get into it, because I remember overhearing you with that, and that one probably sounded the most interesting of the ones you listened to.
Yeah, I go back to the David Taylor deposition when, it's been a while. I think I just recently popped it on again. I'm really enamored. My favorite one is the Cleo Watts deposition. It's a slower one. It's not as scintillating, but there's some moments in that, and that dude is just such a fucking character. such a fucking blatant scammer, like an unapologetic pathological liar scammer. You know what I mean? Like just a crazy fucking dude that has lived his entire life on the grift and isn't going to admit shit and is going to try and find some stupid fucking way of explaining away the inexplicable. He talks about how he's got an IQ in the 120s, and yet he can't remember shit. He talks like it's got a 5th grade education. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. The Roger Stone deposition is pretty crazy to listen to. There's a Trump deposition that's really interesting. The old Bill Clinton deposition from the 90s when he was deposed on the Monica Lewinsky affair is really interesting. There's a number of them out there. I also like to listen to interrogations.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about earlier. The cop that hit a deer.
Yeah.
It was an interrogation.
Yeah, that was, well, he was a DA
Yeah.
that hit a deer, or thought that he hit a deer that ended up killing a man. I can't remember what state it was in, but that's a fucking amazingly interesting interrogation. The interrogation of the murderer, Jason Ravensborg. You can look up his interrogation. And Ravensborg is spelled Ravensborg, right? Ravensborg. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but that's how it's spelled. And that's a really interesting interrogation. I know Watts has already come up with Cleal Watts, but the Chris Watts interrogation. Chris Watts, of course, the man that killed his whole family and stuffed his children into like an oil drum or an oil tank out in the middle of nowhere and buried his wife that was pregnant at the time that he killed her in a shallow grave nearby. That guy, there's 2 full days of his interrogation, including a lie detector test that, to me, with no commentary, just scintillating to watch.
No,
You don't need...
Good recommendation, Jessica, the Jim Can't Swim.
Jim Can't Swim is a great channel, unfortunately inactive now, but has spawned a lot of channels. If you're going to listen to a commentary channel on some of these interrogations, I would recommend Jim Can't Swim as maybe a jumping off point to listening to the entirety, because Jim Can't Swim won't show you the entire thing. He will show you he's really good at picking out the highlights of an interrogation or a deposition and then pointing out things about it, right? But I've used Jim Can't Swim as a jumping off point to finding full interrogations. They're just fucking great. Dahlia Dippolito is a woman who tried to have her husband killed, and the cops were in on it from very early on and undercover, and they had her dead to rights, and watching her interrogation is fucking insane, knowing what you know, because a lot of these interrogations are packaged with the evidence that, and catches this person red-handed. And so, we have Jim Can't Swim says we have the benefit of hindsight when looking at these depositions.
So that interrogations more than...
Right, or interrogations, right. We have the benefit of hindsight, knowing what we know about the court cases and about how the investigations turned up and what the evidence ended up showing. But there's another great interrogation. It's a little shorter, too. A guy named George Hughley. He murdered a young woman named Yardley Love. He was a rich boy in Virginia. The Hughley family, very well moneyed in Virginia, went to UVA with Yardley Love, his on-again, off-again girlfriend, and he basically beat and strangled her to death in her room while he was drunk, and then was brought in for questioning the next day, and probably just thought it was going to be like a domestic violence thing. He didn't even know she was dead because he left her there and stumbled drunkenly out of the room and just assumed that he'd smacked her around a little bit and she'd learned her lesson. And so he was down there thinking he was going to, get to buy his way out of another domestic violence charge or whatever, because he had a history of abusing this woman and was inadvertently just in a complete lawyerless interrogation with cops for a murder that he didn't know he'd committed because he was too drunk to remember doing it. Fucking amazing. It's about an hour and a half long, and it culminates with them revealing that Yardley is dead, and he freaks the fuck out. It's great. The fucking hubris on him as this rich boy, the way he explains it, like, here are the facts of the case. George Hughley kicked down Yardley Love's door to her bedroom in the sorority house that she lived in, which was vacant at the time other than her. Kicked down the door, strangled her, wrestled her to the ground, bloodied her nose, blacked her eye, beat her head against the wall, wrapped his fingers around her neck and choked her, and then left her for dead. All while in a drunken stupor from a day of heavy drinking that started at about fucking 10 a.m. according to the testimony that he gives. He started at 10 a.m. on the golf course, had about 6 beers on the golf course, went straight from the golf course, had an all-day golf course drinking event, went straight from that to dinner, had another fucking 3-4 beers, went straight from dinner to fucking the bar and had another 6 or 7 beers, according to his own testimony. So you can add about 10 beers to that total.
I guess he could have been exaggerating to make himself look less culpable, too.
It don't work that way. You're culpable as can be.
Yeah, but he might have thought that it made him less culpable.
Maybe. In his little rich boy mind. I was drunk. But he doesn't even paint it that way. He goes like, so she says, okay, so you went into Yardley's room and how did she react? And he was like, he says shit like this. He was like, she was like immediately like aggressive and very defensive, like saying like, get out, I don't want to talk to you. Like, and I was like, Yardley, I just want to talk. That's how he talks too. I'm doing a very good impression of George Hughley. Yardley, like, I just want to talk. And she was like very like, I don't know, like aggressive. And like, she was like sitting on her bed, like balled up and like saying, get out, you know, like very like, you know, defensive almost, but in an aggressive way. And I was like, Yardley, like, what you've done is outrageous. Like, she was acting all like really aggressive and like almost like she was scared. Like at some point she was over by her desk and she was telling me like, get out. You know, and I was just like, Yardley, we're gonna talk about what's going on. Like, we can't, this like what you did over the course of the last few days is like outrageous. Just like dripping with privilege. Dripping with rich boy privilege and shit. Unbelievable.
What you doing, D? Watching?
Yeah, UVA lacrosse player, yeah. Anywho, it's about that time. For me to let you guys go. I'll finish up my coffee. Maybe have half of another smoke. And then I'm going to go inside and start my long shooting day. So let's do a rapid fire Q&A right now. Give me questions that you want answered that I can give short answers to. Well, I smoke a little cigarette, finish up a little joint, and finish this little quarter cup of coffee here. Favorite tea? I'm not a huge tea drinker, but I tend to like the green teas, like chamomile and stuff. Although I do like chai like brewed chai tea when I can get it, and Earl Grey as well. I'm an appreciator of tea, but not an aficionado. Favorite Keenified song? Honestly, it's the Manatee cover of Cowboy or Dead or Alive by fucking Bon Jovi. I'm wanted for beating my wife, etc. That one. What episode is Lord Tiny Face from? I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Have you watched Color Out of Space yet? Yep, I loved it. Best country to be in for the climate apocalypse. It's not a country yet, but I would bet on Antarctica. Mint chip, yes or no? Sure. I'm not a huge fan, but I'll eat it. Favorite dog breed? I don't really have. I love dogs. I love mixes of dog breeds too. So I guess mutt would be my if you're gonna make me pick one. I love mutts. I've loved dogs of all breeds. I'm an equal opportunity dog snuggler, butt patter, and head scritcher. What's your opinion on Apocalypto? Really great paced movie. Maybe not all that historically accurate, but it doesn't really matter to me. The movie is fucking amazingly paced. Very dialogue short. Like, not completely devoid of dialogue, but very undependent on dialogue. Great movie. Crunchy or smooth, PB? Smooth. Was my Twitter ban appeal insufficient, or have you not seen it for Devin Aiken's account? Slow Loris, why don't you just come here? I'll do it, but like I haven't seen it. If I did see it, I ignored it. Favorite ancient drip, The Mask of Tutankhamun. Why are you the spitting image of John Goodman? I wish he was my actual fucking dad. I wish my mom would come to me and say, son, I have to tell you something. I cheated with a man on your father when I was very young. I was only 18. I was basically still a kid. I'm like, Mom, oh my God, what are you telling me? Well, which if she was 18, then I'd be way older.
No, like 20 something, yeah.
I cheated on your father when I was 27, Peaches. Wait a minute, Mom, you were 27 when you had me. He was with a man. He was so smooth and so amazing and so talented. And I just couldn't resist him, PJ. Mama, what are you fucking telling me? That man's name was John Goodman. He's your father, Peaches. I'd be like, yes! Thank you, Mom. What's your favorite DFF? I don't have one. I hate favorite questions. What the favorite thing John Goodman is in? Sucks. Sucks question. Cilantro or no? Yes. I'm not a cilantro soap guy. Give me my cilantro. Put it on my fucking tacos. Give me a heaping helping of it too, because it doesn't taste like soap to me, baby. It tastes like cilantro. And that shit is dope. Not soap. Outriders tomorrow night? Sure, maybe. If I've got some time. We're on a heavy shooting schedule, so like probably like Mondays or Sundays would be better.
Or Mondays or Tuesdays.
Or Tuesdays, yeah. But yeah, we'll try and make it happen. I'll see what I can do. It's incredibly bitter to me. Speaking of tacos, you like lingua tacos? I've had lingua before. They're not the best fucking thing in the world, but they're not horrible. Did you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Yes, I did. Marjo's as great as you said it was. I know. It's almost like I got good taste in this shit. Silver and gold, silver and gold. Like, I don't have I love them. I am Yukon Cornelius. Tripas? I've never eaten tripas. I won't eat tripe. I've had lingua tacos before.
Yeah, people would have to sneak tripe underneath.
Well, here's the thing. I've eaten something with tripe in it because I've had menudo before.
Yeah.
And that has tripa. But I don't eat the tripa. I just eat the menudo. I asked them for no tripa. I don't want the big chunk of tripa. Tripas is marrow? I thought tripa was tripe. Tripe is like stomach lining. cut or uncut? Oh, meat, or do I prefer it? Or, oh wait, I just got a text from TJ that says, for no reason, my power just went out.
Also, you want to stick around a little longer until...
We're going to stick around a little longer until that situation susses itself out. Allow me to respond. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay, will do. It's hot as fuck. Yeah, sorry, I'm back now. Tell people to reload or whatever. Refresh. Refresh your stream. Refresh your stream. I doubt it will be out long, says Scotty. So I may have to go at a moment's notice, but I'm going to hang around until I hear further from TJ, because we can't really record a bunch of episodes if TJ's power is out, can we? Especially now that Scotty and TJ are recording in the same place. I guess it's not too hot, but yeah, there's no reason for this. Sorry, I'm sharing like private messages from TJ, but it's not real private shit. His power is out, and he's right. There's no... It happens in fucking Louisiana. Like, I was lucky. The area of Louisiana I lived in was known to be a super power stable area.
Was it just that it had underground line, or not? I guess it can't be underground lines.
They can't, not in Louisiana. It was just well designed.
Yeah.
Like, I lived in Covington, Louisiana when I was down there. And Covington, especially the area of Covington that we were in, I think it was because we lived next to that fucking primate research center and shit.
They definitely got to keep the power on there.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
It did go out that one time.
It went out a couple of times while I lived in that place. Yeah. But never for long. The one time we lost power for a long fucking time was my error. Mm-hmm. I just neglected to pay the goddamn fucking bill, and they cut us off. And
that was like right before the lockdown too, I think.
That was like a couple of weeks after you got there.
Yeah. Oh no, I guess it was earlier than that. So.
It was earlier.
Yeah.
It was way early on, and you and me living together.
Yeah.
And my dumb ass, no excuse either. It wasn't for lack of money. I just neglected to pay the goddamn power bill and didn't go check my mail and didn't get the shut off notice, and they shut me down. I remember we were sitting there like early in the morning, and it just went bzzz, and I was like, oh fuck. And I went outside, and I could see lights in the fucking complex on, so I knew immediately it was only me.
And then I saw something on the counter, it was like mail I'd picked up. I was like, is this it?
I was like, oh fuck me. And that was an all day affair, bro. Yeah. We had to go down to the fucking power company.
Which didn't take credit cards.
Right. I went down there to pay because I had the money. Went down there to pay to get my power cut back on.
Waited in line. And then the lady looked at me like I was a fucking dipshit when I pulled out a credit card. And she was like, we're cash only. And I was like, cash only to pay my power bill? Okay. Let me go find an ATM. And so I drove around and found an ATM, went back, waited in line again, and paid my goddamn power bill. And it still took... Then they found out that there was a problem cutting my power back on. Mm-hmm. Because they told me that my power should be back on by the time I get home. Because it's all done remotely. And the computer, somebody says, okay, boop, and it turns back on. But, Lucky Paul, my little unit, the little circular thing, was dead and wasn't receiving commands. And so I had to sit there and wait all day for my power to get turned back on. It didn't get turned on until the sun was down. And a dude came out and replaced that thing and cut my power back on. Yeah. They were able to make it work to shut the power off, but to turn it back on, it was...
For some reason, it received the command to shut my fucking power off, but wasn't receiving the command to cut it back on. Whatever. I almost feel like I was just like hustled and bustled by that fucking...
It was the fucking goon.
It was like the fucking, you're going to pay your bill next time, ain't you? And in their fucking, to their credit, I sure enough did. I despise places that are cash only. Those places should just die. I agree. Another rapid fire question. If you two are okay with it, what's a good time to fly out there and say hi for a day or two? I got some extra sky miles. I could kill it. It would be fun if that's okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it, dude. I got no problem with that. And we could definitely do something like a little couples date or some shit. Like, there's tons of stuff, you know, around
We're
me.
opening up, so.
Yeah, so I'd be totally down, and we're fully vaxxed and shit. So we'll talk about it privately. We'll hit each other up, and we'll come up with a date, because I'm down for that. I'll give you my itinerary and my schedule and shit, so you know. I just don't want to do that publicly. Do you think it would be a good idea to remove cash entirely and only use credit cards? No, not necessarily. Like, I don't know, man. When it comes to like monetary shit, I don't know what side to be on. Further decentralization through like making money more theoretical and less a physical, tradable, provable commodity, and more of just numbers on a spreadsheet and a machine. Like that, I have a natural aversion to that, knowing the intention of the people that maintain those machines and shit. But I also have a natural aversion to walking around with wads of fucking cash in my pocket.
Oh shit, that reminds me, forgot to call the bank again.
Oh, well, like I said, dude, that my card is so fucking close to being redone. I've kept my eyes on it, and I haven't seen any shit, so it's fine. I'll call them. Stores should accept bullion. Whatever. I mean, they used to. You used to be able to buy money with straight out gold, or buy goods with straight out gold weighed out, you know, or receive credit at a business based on how much gold you put into that business or whatever the fuck.
It's just worth too much money now, I think.
Well, it's inflated. I mean, it was worth a ton of fucking money back then. That's why everybody was scrambling for it. But the price of gold, because it's gotten scarcer as we've gone along, has inflated to such a level now that...
That's also like becoming theoretical, the value of gold.
Well, because it's not the standard anymore. The standard is now fiat. So gold has exploded in value because it's a speculative property now, and people know that they're not making more of it. You know, gold is a limited commodity, and it's not just a jewelry commodity. It is absolutely fundamental in a lot of electronics. There's gold in your phone. If you own a modern smartphone, there's gold all up in that motherfucker. Platinum as well. There's tons of precious metals. Coltan is one of the most rare metals in the world, and it's in your phone. Central to the processor of your phone.
Yeah. For now, they didn't charge us at Chase to replace their card, so.
No. And whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about my fucking bank business with people. You need to gold plate the electrical connections so they don't corrode. Yeah. Copper is going to rise significantly in price if a green revolution occurs. Copper has already exploded in price to the point where people are like fucking stripping it from abandoned properties and stuff and selling it as scrap. By the way, you were correct in your assessment of investing in crypto on Flash Friday. It's a long-term investment, and the drop in price was a result in investors going risk off in all markets yesterday. I understand. I don't play the fucking long bet game. Okay, cool, because I know they always used to do that when I was working at B of A. My brother strips copper from places, just like Paul said, yeah. I mean, there are tons of legit businesses, like salvage operations, that make a lot of their money going into old houses and shit that are about to be torn down and would normally just be like carted off for scrap, and instead pulling all the copper wiring out of the building, etc. Sometimes not even abandoned. Well, yeah, there are criminal enterprises that will go onto farms and shit and buildings that aren't surveilled and strip copper out of them in the middle of the night, go onto properties where there's copper and steal it. Absolutely. Paul, we don't have enough copper in the world to build solar panels and wind turbines. It will rise so much you don't even know. Dude, trust me, dude, I'm aware of the fact that wind turbines and solar panels are not going to save us. Like, I'm not a bright green guy. Like, I think green technology is good so far as it's applicable to fucking reducing the damage done to the environment, and so long as it's sustainable and attainable on a widespread way, And you're absolutely right. There's just fundamentally not enough of these precious metals left on the planet for the planet to transition to wind or solar energy. And these modes of fucking electrical, gathering electrical energy and shit, while they work, they're inefficient as fuck. They don't even come close to the efficiency of fossil fuels.
Yeah, we probably should have been investing in solar panels like 30 years ago to have enough.
The technology may, in the next 20 or 30 years, elevate itself to a point of like, fucking sustainability or some shit, but right now it ain't there. So this idea that we should throw trillions of dollars into building windmills and shit is just forestalling the truth of our situation. There's not enough fucking time to build windmills. There's not enough places to put them. There's not enough of it. We saw the weakness of windmill technology in local municipalities in Texas during the fucking polar vortex that just happened there, where the local municipality decided, we're in Texas, we don't need to weatherproof these windmills, and the fucking state went dark because of it.
I mean, I'm kind of that mind that people are saying, like, go nuclear. I know you have some hesitations about it.
I do, but I mean, I'm not totally adverse to it. I used to live in Arizona, which is a state that's almost 100% powered by nuclear energy, or at least maybe it's not. I might be overquoting that, but a significant amount of Arizona's power comes from nuclear power. I used to live within 100 miles or less of a major nuclear facility in Arizona that produces power. And so, once again, like, I have my trepidations about nuclear power. A lot of that is based on the history of nuclear power. I understand that we as a species have learned from those failures, but we have recent examples of those failures happening. The Fukushima reactor being the most recent one that I can think of, but that's recent enough in history for me to think that there are tons of facilities that are not.
Wasn't that like because of an earthquake, though?
That was because of a tsunami.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the reason that the reactor fucking had problems was not because it was hit by the tsunami. It's because it relied on backup generators that were diesel and were at sea level, which were flooded out, which meant that the rod melted through the fucking casing and it went into meltdown. So this was a design flaw that could have been taken care of by just putting those generators on the roof of the fucking building. So that's where my trepidation for nuclear comes from. Because nuclear has the potential, in the case of natural disasters, which we were talking about last night, are going to get more frequent and more severe, has the potential during natural disasters of certain types to be a very dangerous form of generating energy. All nuclear power stations generate radioactive waste that has to be deposited somewhere. And the common way to do that is in designated areas in the middle of fucking the desert or something. They'll just bury it and rope it off. And how long are we going to do that? In perpetuity? The half-life on that shit is like fucking 700 years before those areas are going to be safe for people to be in it. Or more. So it's like, fire it into space. We don't have the fucking infrastructure for that yet. We're talking about millions and millions of pounds of nuclear waste that already exist on the planet. And then we're talking about moving to a fucking power source that's going to create more on top of it. That's why I have trepidation for nuclear as a long-term fucking power source. What was that? They're working on being able to reuse the waste created. Yeah. Well, they're working on it, but right now there's no solution. And right now there's tons and tons of nuclear waste, not just in the United States, but elsewhere, buried on property. I'm fascinated with the unlimited power of nuclear energy, but it's far too dangerous. I mean, I'm not necessarily poo-pooing the idea of nuclear energy, but I want an answer to some of these fucking trepidatious questions that I have. Like, I feel like I'm not being paranoid when I say that there might be 15, 20 Fukushimas waiting to happen out there. You know what I mean? Japan relies heavily on nuclear power. Fukushima is one of like a bunch of nuclear reactors in Japan, and that is a country that is prone to earthquake and tsunami activity. So, you know, it's no joke, man. And I'm all for finding more, you know, doing nuclear research and finding more efficient ways of extracting that energy that produce less waste and shit. And I believe that that could be done, but I don't believe that we're there yet. I mean, I'm sure that modern nuclear facilities churn out less waste than, you know, the early nuke facilities did. But we're still not at a point where I feel like I would be comfortable putting a nuclear power reactor for every, you know, 300,000 people or whatever the fuck in every state. It just, I don't know. Death count is not the only thing to consider, man. I understand that people overblow nuclear disaster, but there's a reason for that. Look at Pripyat and the whole fucking exclusion zone around Chernobyl. That place will be like areas of that, especially places close to the sarcophagus, will be uninhabitable for people for 100 years or more. So there's a reason why that shit is overblown. Because when something goes bad at a nuclear facility, it has the potential to kill or maim or damage genetically in the form of cancer millions of people. So it's like a gas engine can kill a family of 4 in a minivan on the road, and I understand that happens way more often, but a single nuclear reactor can poison or kill millions of people. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I love you, baby. Pripyat will be uninhabitable for tens of thousands of years. Well, there you go. And in 100 years, climate change will render much of the equator uninhabitable. It's earlier than that. The scientists, the latest climate science puts that number at about 50 years. 50 years, a huge swath of land around the equator, home to 45% of the world's population, is going to be functionally uninhabitable for humans. So less than 100 years. Between 30 and 50 years. And the oceans will be dead in about that same amount of time at the current rate. About 50, 60 years dead oceans. Have you thought about dropping out of modernity? To what extent can I? I really want to look into conservation biology because people like Guy McPherson assert that many climate scientists are missing the forest for the trees by focusing on physics and not ecology. Sure, I don't know anything about it, my friend. A shack in the woods, good luck funding yourself. Fuck funding yourself. Good luck finding a place where you can set up a homestead that you aren't going to be kicked out of by a fucking thug for the government or a local owner of private property or whatever the fuck. Like, I live near some of the most vast and expansive wilderness in the United States. I am just fucking hours from the Yosemite Valley and the Sierra Nevada mountain range. in all of its splendor and wild glory. And if I set up a fucking homestead out there, it's a matter of days, weeks, or months before a forestry agent sees some smoke from a fire I made, comes and finds my shack, and I'm kicked off. So there's no way you can fucking drop out of modernity. Not really. What's the best scenario for mankind given the track we're on right now ecologically? That's a loaded question, and it's a tough one to fucking answer because I don't have a crystal ball. What I can tell you is this. I'm good at giving you the actual existential threats that we faced, and then maybe we can extrapolate what's going to happen from some of those. So let's look at one of those threats. This is one that we've talked about before on here, and I may have to cut this short. If I do, if I get a text from TJ saying that they're good to go or whatever, his power's back on, yada, yada, I got to go. So you guys understand we're starting a big conversation here that may have to get cut short and postponed for a later date. We'll put a pin in it if that happens. That being said, let's look at one aspect of this. The migration crisis that is looming and already happening, right? So what the truth of that is that billions of people are going to be fleeing climate disaster of various kinds. Whether it's increased temperatures, increased humidity, the increased severity and frequency of giant storms. There are already people fleeing the coastal areas of countries and moving inland because of these things. And the coastal areas house, we looked it up last night, something like 45% of America lives on the coast. So we're talking about, I'm one of those people. I moved the fuck out of Louisiana ultimately to get away from the goddamn storms and the fact that that state is sinking. Not figuratively, literally into the ocean. I left. I'm at the front edge of a giant movement of people that represents about 40% of people that live in these fucking coastal areas that are going to be most heavily impacted by this climate disaster that's looming. And that's just within the United States. Then we move on to the aforementioned equatorial belt. And it reaching a dew point that is no longer, it reaches a point where you can no longer sweat to cool yourself down. So I've existed and, been in an environment that's right on the edge of that in southern Louisiana, where you go outside and if you exist too long out there, you just die of dehydration. Your body can't cool itself because it doesn't, your body relies on evaporation of water when you sweat, and you reach a certain dew point and heat index, and your body just continuously produces sweat that just doesn't wick off your body. It just, you know what I mean? I've been there. Wet bulb temperature is what you're talking about. Lethal wet bulb temperature. Thank you. I've heard that term and I just never remember it. So that's what we're talking about reaching on the equatorial belt, which is the home to about 45% of the population of Earth, give or take 5%. All of those people are going to be fleeing north and south away from the equator. And guess where we are? North of the equator. So you're already seeing this climate migration happening, and you're seeing the outcroppings of it at our border with Mexico as people flee their homelands, looking for fucking respite from the front edge of what we're talking about. So this is not theoretical. This is already happening, and it's about to happen at an accelerated pace in a manner that humanity has never seen before. We're talking about a displacement and rehoming of an amount of people that has literally never been seen in history. We have nothing to compare it to. Food shortages, land shortages, spikes in fucking price, war, famine, destitution looms with this type of shit. We are talking about a world that is functionally unprepared for the type of migration that's about to happen. And we're already reaping the whirlwind on it, and we're about to reap the tornado. Okay? So, what are some possible outcomes from that? Nukes, wars over water, horrible, horrible human rights violations, as some of these people are rounded up and put into ghettos and concentration camps and deported back to places that are functionally unlivable. Famine, disease. Woo! All right. 32 salty individuals. I don't just dip out. Let me just tell you guys something. I don't just dip out. I think a lot of people probably assumed that I dipped because I got that aforementioned fucking text from TJ. But if I got that text, I would tell you guys, oh, I gotta dip, gotta go to work, see you later, bye, bye, bye. Boom. And then you guys wouldn't be waiting around with your dicks in your hands. My mama called me on the phone. You know I'm about to pick that up and not even say a word. Your mama fucking rings you, you go bloop. It's like clockwork in my mind. Like, this is my personal phone. My mama called me. Bloop. Doesn't mean I'm not coming back. I talked to my mama and now here I am. So when I disappear like that, for future reference, there's a reason. Like, somebody called me. I had to take a phone call. I had to make a phone call. Something happened. And if I didn't end the stream with a see you later, bye, and you don't see me do the bloop, 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 Mom's fine. Mama's just fine. But Mama didn't raise no fool. You pick up your phone when your mama calls you. From the ashes, phoenix-like, I rise. You dipped last night like that? No, I didn't. I said bye. I was like, oh, I kind of dithered a little bit, but you knew it was over. Paul, what's your favorite Nirvana song? I mean, I don't know. I like Sliver. I like Lounge Act. I like Dive. I don't know, man. Don't make me pick. Slanderous talk. Slanderous talk. Total bullshit. Total horseshit. How do you feel about urban exploration? I don't really do it or watch people do it. It's not as interesting to me as it is some people, but not to knock it. I guess some of it is kind of interesting. I've seen it, but I'm not a big follower of it. Paul, do you think there's going to be winners in the climate crisis regarding countries? No. No, I don't mean to be overly simplistic in that answer, but no. I have listened to some Billie Eilish. Yes. Kind of reminds me, and this is not like something that I hide from people. It's just not something that comes up topically a lot because I have a mostly male audience, but I have a soft spot in my heart for female-led pop music. I love me some Lady Gaga. I love me some fucking, what's her fucking name? British chick. Riding on the city on my bike all day because the filth took away my license. What's her name? I'm brain farting on her name. Lily Allen. Got it before chat gave it to me. Lily Allen. Love me some Lily Allen. I love Melanie Martinez. Like, Melanie Martinez is probably an artist that not a lot of people would expect me to listen to. I'm not super into Billie Eilish. I've heard Ash Nico. She's really good. So I'm into like female-led pop and hip-hop acts and the blending thereof. The Cranberry. Well, see, a lot of that stems forth from the 90s, which if you think about it was like a really vibrant time for women in popular music. You had a fuck ton of really strong leading female artists and bands led by women of multiple different kind of genres. You know, you had L7, which was like a female-led punk band that was real fucking awesome. The Cranberries we talked about. You had pop acts like Natalie and Bruglia, and what's the girl that does Stay? You say, I only hear what I want to. I don't listen hard. Don't be that girl. I can't remember her name. You had, of course, the inimitable and awesome fucking Alanis Morissette. You had fucking, what's her name? Gwen Stefani blowing up. I mean, it was a really great, inclusive time. A lot of female hip-hop acts. You had Brat. You had Rage. You had all these like burgeoning incursions, Missy Elliott, of women into the front position of music. And it was dope. And so I developed a real taste for that shit. Not exclusively, but like I appreciate it. And I've gotten appreciation for like female-led bands in general. So, yeah, TLC. Of course, you got to mention TLC. And I was talking just a couple of days ago about how much I loved TLC. That album, Crazy, Sexy, Cool. And the one that followed it, fucking just amazing shit. Never went to Lilith Fair, no. But I left a ton of female-led singer-songwriter acts off of that. There's just a ton that I'm missing. I mean, it was a really absolutely vibrant time. I love Whitney Houston's shit. I'm not as big a fan of Jennifer Hudson, but Whitney Houston, I'm a big appreciator of her stuff. Love Mariah Carey. Like, just, you know, I have a soft spot for that. You know, it's not just rock, it's not just hip hop. I like straight out fucking bubblegum pop, unironically and unapologetically too. Indigo Girls, Paula Cole, Sarah McLachlan, Melissa Etheridge, Katie Lang. Yep. All artists that I'm familiar with. Katie Lang used to get made fun of a lot, but she has like an amazing voice. She was an open out lesbian, and she got made fun of a lot, but she has that, her big popular song was Come to My Window. Come to my window. Super fucking catchy. PJ Harvey, another great artist. I mean, it was just, and it's not like that tradition isn't found in other decades, but I was just raised in a decade where there was this like blossoming kind of like assertive female presence in music that was great. Or is that Melissa Etheridge and not Katie Lang? One of the two. I think both of those people were lesbians and made fun of for it. Alicia Keys, very talented, yes. Not going to claim to be a super fan or whatever. But. Oh man, Poe. That's a deep cut. Had that Angry Johnny song. I want to kill you. I want to blow you away. Lady that sang the Goonies song is Cyndi Lauper. She's an 80s artist, mostly. I mean, she was still making music in the 90s, but her big popular time was an 80s artist. But yeah, Cyndi Lauper, awesome. Madonna, another iconic female artist. Portishead, yep. I mean, the list goes on and on. I don't want to fucking spend all goddamn day just listing female artists, but the point of the thing is that, I've got a soft spot. I love that shit. Modern pop tends to be less catchy. I disagree, but that's on you. I'm not going to force feed you shit you don't like to listen to. Cyndi Lauper was great, man. She had a great attitude. Was like an empowering artist for little girls in the 80s. Like little girls and teenage women, ladies that were coming up in the 80s. Had a real strong role model of unapologetic feminism in Cyndi Lauper. And she wasn't, ultra preachy about it. She was just out there in a way that I think empowered little girls. And she wasn't like, Madonna was very much about sexuality. And Cyndi Lauper, I mean, it's not like she shied away from it, but she wasn't out there to be that. Cyndi Lauper was just out there to be a woman. And that was very important. She was an artist that a lot of people look back on. They see her with her multicolored hair and the weird pigtails and the fucking, patchwork type of style, 80s style that she used to kick it in. Kind of like a proto Harley Quinn kind of look, right? And, it's very jokey when you look at somebody like that. But she was a very important artist to little girls in the 80s and 90s. Unsung hero and making the WWE a big attraction in the 80s. Absolutely. The Goonies Are Good Enough video is absolutely filled with early WWE superstars. Captain Lou Albano, Jesse the Body Ventura. I think Hulk is in it. There's a bunch of dudes in it. I think Ric Flair or something. I can't remember all the dudes that are in it, but that video is crazy. The song is called Goonies Are Good Enough. Bad song title, great song, great video. And yeah, you're right. She fucking tying that video to the Goonies property was huge. She-bop, yeah, dude. Well, I mean, fucking, she was great. Madonna was great too. I'm not trying to downplay Madonna because she was sexual. Like, that was another part of female empowerment. Like, Madonna was like the other head on this, two-headed dragon we're talking about here. Madonna was the overtly, unapologetically sexual woman who was like, I fuck women, I fuck men, I fuck for pleasure, and I fuck for fun, and I'm a woman, and I'm unapologetic about it. You can call me a fucking slut, call me whatever you want. But I'm out here, and I'm not ashamed of my body, I'm proud of the way I look, and I flaunt my sexuality, and that's every bit as important as having that straighter edged role model that they had in Cyndi Lauper, who was still iconoclastic in the way she conducted herself, the way she dressed, but not overtly sexual. Two different messages, both very important. Papa, don't preach, I'm in trouble deep. Papa, don't preach, I'm in the mood, you see. But I made up my mind. I'm keeping my baby. It's like an anti-patriarchy song. My cliche in high school was just a bunch of us gays debating Madonna versus Gaga. Yeah. You ever hear the Danny Aiello response song to Papa Don't Preach? It's hilarious. No. Did you know that song was about abortion? Obviously. I'm keeping that. Like, Dad, I'm pregnant. You want me to get a fucking abortion, but I'm keeping my baby. Yeah, it's pretty overtly about abortion, bro. Did you know the song Bicycle by Queen is about bicycles and how much fun it is to ride them? Bicycle, bicycle, I love to ride my bicycle. Bicycle, I love to ride my bicycle. I love to ride my bike. I love to ride my bicycle. I love to ride it where I like. Bicycle, bicycle. Oh yeah, that song John Lennon did called "Oh Yoko" was about Yoko Ono and how much he loved her. In the middle of the night, doom 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 doom. In the middle of the night, I call your name. Doom doom doom. Oh Yoko, ba bum. Oh Yoko. My love will turn you on. Beautiful song. A lot of people don't know that's about Yoko Ono. And by the way, can we clear something up about Yoko Ono? And this is not a defense of Yoko Ono, but let's clear something up and let's clear the record on Yoko Ono real quick. Because a lot of people say Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles. This is fucking bullshit. You know what broke up the Beatles? The egos of the men involved in the goddamn motherfucking Beatles. So you may not like Yoko Ono's visual art or her fucking music and shit. I don't. But if you say that Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles, you're a fucking dunce. Thank you. We can move on now from that. She wasn't a fucking factor. The egos of the men involved in the Beatles broke up that band. 100% Yoko Ono had nothing to do with it. Her tribal screaming broke up the Beatles, yeah. They were tired of going to hang out and just having Yoko be like, yeah, 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 yeah. They're like, oh, fuck. All right, fuck this, mate. I'm done. I'm done, me lovelies. Can't do it no more. Peace and love. I say this with peace and love, John, but I can no longer stand to be around Yoko Ono, John. The Beatles must therefore end. With peace and love, but Yoko has ruined this band. This band is no longer a band, and I say this with peace and love. This band is no longer a band because of Yoko Ono. Like, give me a break, bro. Ringo tried to write a song. That's how they ended. Yeah, that's closer to the truth than blaming it on Yoko. D, what's the matter, buddy? Do you want to go inside? Do you want to go inside, or do you want? What's the matter? Where's your ball? Go find your ball. Where's it at? Go get it. I would argue that their fucking meteoric success and the giant egos of all of the men involved, or most of the men. I don't think George Harrison had a giant ego, to be honest with you, but he's kind of the forgotten Beatle, which kind of proves the point. But I think that the giant egos of, you know, 3/4 of the Beatles is what broke up that band. Yoko got a free ride off the Beatles. Get out of here, bitch. Get out of here. She was his wife, and he was killed in the street. She had nothing to fucking do with that. Are you claiming that the wife of a fucking artist shouldn't get to fucking keep some of the money? I mean, come on, bro. Why everybody put Yoko Ono in this position? V, where's your ball? Find your ball. I think I know where it is. I think I see it. I'm going to help you out. Come on. Your ball's over here. I see it in the grass, I think. Yeah, I see it. Your ball. Come on. Right there. Look at that. Daddy found it. Yay! I got a ball. I got a bow wow wow. All right, you hang out here, D. I'm gonna take this. No. Oh, all right. I'll have to check my fucking text messages when I come back. Hello, D. Where's your bow? Go get your bow wow wow. Go get it. Right here. D. You're gonna take a poop? Come on. Oh, D. Oh, D. All right, I have to pause for a second. I'll be right back. I meant it. Just checking to make sure that there's no update that I need for work today. Be right back with peace and love. Bicycle, bicycle, I love to ride my bicycle. Do you love to fetch your ball? Do you want to fetch your ball? Do you want to bring your ball? You don't want to fetch? You still waking up, huh? Dad doesn't want to fetch right now, neither. I feel you. You're still waking up. You woke up with me today. I love to ride my bike. I love Queen, but my dad hated them because of Freddie's sexuality. That sucks. What the fuck is up with these dislikes? My grandparents didn't know he was gay. Good. Like, good. The name Queen was kind of a giveaway. Maybe. Make TJ listen to a whole Creed album. When dreaming, I'm guided to another world. Time and time again. It's alright if I should stay asleep, 'cause I don't wanna leave the comfort of this place. But there's a hunger, a longing to escape from the life I live when I'm away. Holy shit. It's not a bad riff. I'll give them that. Bum 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 bum. It's a pretty good riff. It's a pretty catchy riff. The song is a little cringy, but you gotta give props to Creed for having catchy riffs and shit at the very least. Paul, thank me for being a Patreon. No. You don't walk up to somebody and ask for thanks and shit. That's not the way it works. I thank my patrons all fucking time. You don't get to come up in here and fucking demand shit out of me, motherfucker. The fuck you think you are, bitch? Cool riff. Yeah. With the arms wide open. Oh, dude. I mean, everybody's got a little cringe in their closet when it comes to fucking music. Dude, I owned the first Godsmack album, okay? I like to call that... I don't remember what that album was called. It might have just been a self-titled album. But I privately referred to that album as the Go Away album. Because pretty much every song has an allusion to how much he wants people to stay away, go away, keep away from him. Go away, do as I told you, stay away from me. I'm not the one who's so far away when I feel the snake bite into my veins. Like pretty much every fucking, at least every hit off that album had go away, keep away, stay away, far away. It was a concept album about being away. You want to go inside, D? I'll let you in. I'll let you in. Let's go. I'm doing the best I ever did. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best I ever did. Go away. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best I ever did. I'm doing the best I ever can. I'm doing the best that I ever did. Go away. I'm doing the best I ever did. I'm doing the best. Do like I told you. Stay away from me. Never misunderstand me. Keep away from me. Dude, you know who had the godliest voice out of the 90s, bro? I was listening to some on my way on the road on my little vacation, my little day-long vacation I took recently. Fucking sublime. I can't remember dude's name, but oh my fucking god, man. I would murder everybody on the planet to be able to sing like that dude for a half second. Meatloaf has a godly voice. Oh yeah, dude. John Popper of Blues Traveler, great voice. Gone too soon, absolutely. Dude was an absolute fucking god amongst men. Inimitable voice. Just you can't cover Sublime. You just can't. You just. Shannon Hoon, yep, Blind Melon's lead singer, another fucking completely inimitable voice. Gone too soon. Taken by the same shit. Drugs, drugs, drugs. I love that ska tinge that fucking Sublime had. It's just like it's like kissed by ska. It doesn't come off as a ska band or album. You barking about, D? Let me go find out what's going on with Dynor. Bouncy, bouncy, bobbling boobs. Everything's fine. Dynor just saw the mailman, and now he's barking because Amelia's checking the mail. And that's the truth. I've got to... You guys hold on. Don't go anywhere. I have to check my text messages real quick. We're good. It was. You guessed it. It was the mailman. Diner went apeshit because the mailman came, and now he's going apeshit because Amelia went to go check the mail. Daddy was a holy rolling stone. Ooh, she rolled away one day and she never came home. Mailman dropped 4 brand new cat litter mats off for me today. So happy. 4? How many fucking cats you got, dog? How many Kit Kats you got? Got me wanting to listen to some ska and shit now.
Still going?
Yeah. You need me to pause it?
No, I was gonna bring the trash in that they still haven't picked up.
I think they did pick it up.
Yeah, it's a normal trash now.
Oh, yeah. Dog v Mailman, the ultimate battle. Some mighty, mighty boss tones. Yeah, buddy. If someone dies in the pit at a ska show, it was from fun. Yeah, that's true. It was from skanking too hard, man. Skanking it up too hard and too fast. I think skateboards killed more ska fans than ska shows did, probably. I bet fucking hacky sacks have killed more people than ska shows. Paul, I used to be a skateboarder back in my teens. I remember you saying that. I will not claim to have been a skateboarder myself, but I hung out with skateboarders all throughout my fucking tweens and teens. It was a very, very big subculture in the 90s. And I knew a lot of people who were into it, and I kind of dressed in that manner and still do. Yep. Skateboard shoes are the most comfortable shoes. I agree. My shins are like cheese graters from skateboarding. Oh, dude, I know. Not necessarily firsthand. Like the skateboarding I did was a type of skateboarding that doesn't really exist anymore. Like I was decent on a skateboard. Like I could ride a skateboard, but when I was a kid, I rode one of these big 1980s boards. It was like a cruiser board. Not a long, like, cruiser board, but like a big fat board that was not meant for tricking. It was meant for fucking just skating up and down the street on. And so I knew, like, the little tricks that it took to fucking stop real quick and turn real quick on those. but like a big fat skateboard. Yep. The Bart Simpson board, kind of, yeah, but even bigger, than it's portrayed. It wasn't a long board, no. It was just a big fat version of like a tricking or vert board. Like that came along in the 90s, and by that time I had kind of checked out of the skating shit. But, it was after that the skating culture really became like culturally relevant, because vert and street skating started to take off. It wasn't like they weren't existing back then. It's just that they started to people that were doing it started to become stars doing it. Tony Hawk, before him, the Tony Alva. A lot of these skateboard dudes were becoming international celebrities and shit, doing what they were doing. Yeah, it had it had urethane skid plates. So it was the skid plates on my board were made out of the same shit that the wheels are made out of. So it was a urethane coated plastic skid plate, probably. Yeah, Rodney Mullen. You okay, baby?
Yep. One
Sure.
couple puffs.
Thanks. I appreciate you picking through them for me. Roaches are a stoner's best friend, not cockroaches. The other kind of roaches.
So windy today.
Yeah. The wind is so paraperennial this kind of year. Parapetennial? Am I using that word correctly? You're also smoking roaches, rip. Well, I'm smoking them just because I'm a good stoner, But I feel you. Like, roaches are owner's best friend. You keep them around or you smoke them as you go, because, one way or the other, it needs to get smoked up. Now, I like the wind. I'm not like super against wind, but it can be fucking really annoying when it's windy and you've got long hair. Like when we were at the beach, that was the one thing I noticed, is that I need some clips. Like I need to get some shit that, like some fucking Big Lebowski style fucking clips where I just clip back this part of my fucking hair and leave everything else down. Because the shit that constitutes your bangs, this shit, like in the wind, it just wants to be here. Like if I was in a real windy situation and I was facing the wind like I was at the beach and I just did nothing with my hair, this is what I would look like on the beach. Probably even worse. Probably something like that.
People can see in that
Wow.
Pismo Beach picture you posted.
Oh yeah, dude, my hair's fucking all over the goddamn place. Like at some point, like this is not uncomfortable for me. It's just that my hair is so fucking thick. Like if I had thinner hair like you, having a little strand of hair in my eye would be kind of sexy. But for me, it's like a curtain over my eye. My hair is so fucking poofy and shit. So it's real annoying. The hat helps with that shit, honestly. Like I wear these beanies, not necessarily like I love this beanie because it's a super light beanie. It's not really meant for like keeping your head warm. It's more of like a wear it at the beach kind of beanie to keep your fucking hair from blowing all over in your face. I just forgot to bring my goddamn beanie down to the beach.
Yeah.
I could have thrown that
Like
motherfucker
you
on.
grabbed it at the.
Yep. When I went up to the car to pay pay the parking meter and grab you a sweater. I could have grabbed my fucking beanie, but I didn't.
And you should have taken off that wet t-shirt too.
I should have just taken my t-shirt off.
Yeah, and then put it on.
And not gone in the ocean with my goddamn fucking t-shirt on. That's what I should have done. Look, we have the what does Jim Can't Swim say again? We have the benefit of hindsight. But yeah, it is windy. But I would rather it be windy as fuck like this and 70 something than stale and 100 like it could be. Like I was talking to my mom the other day and she was talking to me about the weather in this area of California and shit. And she was like, man, she's like, there are years where we've had multiple triple digits by this point. And we haven't even scratched 90 yet here.
I mean, we have.
Oh, have we? Yeah, a couple of times. We've gone to like 91, 92 or something. We have not hit triple digits here yet, which in the past was not uncommon. Like when I was a kid growing up in this area, like you had an actual season of spring that ended in fucking at the end of May and summer started in June and that was that, you know what I mean? Not no more. But this is more like when I was a kid where, you know, at the end of May you'd have breezy days, cool days, 70s, nice sunny days with clear skies and little wispy high serious clouds.
I don't think we're gonna turn on the AC at all today.
There ain't no fucking need.
Yeah.
If we do anything, like
Maybe the heat it.
we could crank on that fucking just fan only.
Yeah.
And just use it like a house fan and open the windows that do have screens on them and blow out some of the house and shit and just circulate some air in the house. TJ's at that point. We talked about it, I think, in a grease trap yesterday that we filmed where he's at that point with his hair growth. I asked him the pointed question. I was like, dude, are you growing your hair back out or what? Like, what's the deal? And his answer was very vague. It was, I am going to grow my hair until I am annoyed with it and then cut it off. And I was like, okay. But he's at that point, and he's right at the beginning of the point too, of a long period of time where your hair is just awkward and does nothing. Because when you're going from shaving your head like TJ did, taking it down very close like TJ did, and then letting it grow back out again, you go through like a probably 6-month awkward phase. Oh my God.
It is. It's got a full ass wind advisory right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what we heard earlier was a branch falling off of one of these fucking trees.
Yeah.
So Dinor's inside, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So maybe keep them inside.
Supervised visitation only for Dinor out here until this blows over, because this is crazy shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
We
if
might
lost
lose
the
fucking
branch.
power or internet too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if like TJ was like, power's back on, and I'm like, great, and I go to sit down and it's like, because yeah, dude, this is definitely the type of wind where a tree could fall over, a branch could fall over and take out a power line.
The power pole. It's not that far from the tree.
I mean, luckily for us, the wind is blowing away from the power pole, but you know, this wind feels like one that could shift. It just blew our stupid door. Yeah, open.
The door that don't work.
The door that isn't really a door. That door, yeah. If you're black or just have really curly hair, the awkward phase lasts well over a year. I mean, I'm just speaking from my experience, and it's recent too. Well, relatively recent. I haven't had a haircut. We figured it out. It's like 2017 or some shit. I haven't had anything done to my hair. And so, you know, like, I remember there being about 6 months where my hair was just, I wanted to cut it off every day. I felt like it looked stupid, and I hid it under a hat every day for about 6 months, maybe even 8 months, before I started feeling like, okay, like this hair is starting to actually look kind of cool, and I can do something with it now because there's enough of it to hold together, and I can brush it, and it does something, and it looks like something. And that happened right about, I would say, like, I hit that phase of growing my hair out right around the time, so it might have been like a longer awkward phase. Because I would say, like, I reached the point where I started being comfortable just not having a hat on and letting my hair be my hair, right? Maybe like 6 months before we met. So it would have been like 2019, early 2019, maybe. So if I started growing it out in 2017 and only got to the point where I felt like it looked like a cohesive thing and looked good in 2019, that's a 2-year awkward phase.
I mean, I think your hair grows slower than TJ's.
My hair grows fast.
I think it's still
It's slowed down because I think I've reached what's close to my terminal length, but my hair grows super fucking fast. Like, it really does. My mom used to have to, she used to bitch at me all the time because I need a haircut every fucking month. I shaved my head in 2017, and I had a fucking full ass, you can go back and look at the early episodes of fucking, look how quickly it grew. I went from straight up bicked bald. TJ shaved my head with Chelsea's dog clippers, and then lathered my head up with shaving cream and took a bick to it. Took me naked. I went from naked to like shaggy and fucking uncomfortable in like 3 months. Just That's another thing about it too, is as it gets longer, it grows slower.
Yeah.
As you approach the terminal length of your hair, it takes longer to get a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
So it's like once it reaches about here, it's like, all right, let's slow down a bit. And I'm like, don't. Because I was like, I was like, fuck this shit. Just put it behind my ears and put a hat over it. You know?
I mean, if TJ's gonna grow full length again, this is probably the time to do it before the nail pattern ball.
Well, I mean, like, dude, you see my stepdad.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a fuck, and there's no reason for him to give a fuck.
Yeah.
He keeps his hair long, and he's got all the male pattern baldness, and fuck anybody who wants to say anything to him about it. You know what I mean? So TJ could go that route. I see no problem with it. Like, I joke with Steve about it, but I've never like, you know, like, I think it looks cool on him. It fits his personality, and he wears it well. So I think he's probably more self-conscious about it than he needs to be. But he's self-effacing, and he understands what's going on, and he doesn't give a fuck. He keeps his hair long. I think TJ could get away with that. He had this picture of himself, and I'm not trying to shit on TJ. That picture of him pointing at that sign, that meme that came out where he's pointing at that sign that was like patriotism, duty, and honor or whatever. And his hair was like blowing in the wind. He's in Colorado, right? Yeah. And I just pictured him with his hair grown out at that level of baldness, with just like a wild, you know, like not baldness, but you know what I mean? He's starting his male pattern shit. And so it's like, he just looked like a fucking crazy professor or something. You know what I mean? Just go for it. Look like a crazy fucking like Ted Kaczynski looking motherfucker or something that lives out in the woods. That picture is fucking great. Dude, TJ really is a walking meme. Do you guys remember that picture I took of him at the art gallery in New Mexico? We were at an art gallery in New Mexico, and it was a picture of TJ from behind, standing and considering a piece of art, and that was a meme for like 2.5 years after that. People would put different things that TJ was looking at. And it's just TJ from behind looking at something, considering a piece of art. Oh, man, I love TJ. How do you not?
Make your PB&J with some milk, maybe, for you.
Sure, if you're down, baby, that'd be great. You know what? Don't worry about it right now, though, unless you're gonna do one for yourself.
Yep. I'm gonna do one for myself.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, baby. I listen to the winds, to the wind of my soul. Where I'll end up, well, I think only God really knows. I sat upon the setting sun, but never, 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 I never wanted water one. No, never, never, never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let my music take me where my heart wants to go. I swim upon the devil's lake, but never, 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 I'll never make the same mistake. No, never, never, never. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Leon the Froggy is from County Vauxley, Derbyshire, and you will fucking address him as such. Ever tried ketchup chips? Nope, never seen them. Dude, I don't know, dude. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Don't ask me Scotty hair tips, because I just don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, the Archduke of Philipsburgshire, County of O'Toodlebottom, yes. And you will address him as such, sir. Leon the Froggy will be addressed as such. Dude, Stevie has the hair of a goddamn beast. His hair is fucking insane, man. He's got a mane. Man, I just wanna go flex. Gold on my teeth and on my neck. And I'm stone cold with the flex with my squad, and I'm soaking up a check. So true. I wanna go flex just one goddamn motherfucking time. Drip. You flexed on the individual once when he called your sunglasses cheap. I barely remember what you're talking about, but I kind of do remember him. That was just like a fucking like example of the individual defeating himself with his own argument. Like, I don't even really consider that a flex, but I kind of did, yeah, a little bit. I flexed a little bit. Thank you, baby. This looks fucking delicious, dude. PB&J and a glass of milk. Dude, if I was fucking 6, I'd be just as delighted as I am right now to receive this. Not the beauty of a PB&J. I fucking weep for because like people overseas don't eat this shit. PB&J is like kind of an American invention.
Yeah.
And I weep for people that didn't grow up with PB&J because as an adult, as a 41-year-old man, I still get the same delight that I got when I was a kid when Amelia brings me a beautiful PB&J. And for good reason. That shit's just dope. Dude, Europe doesn't like PB&J. And here's what you do. Here's what you do in America. When you're eating a PB&J, you wash your PB&J down with a nice glass of cow titty milk.
They've never had peanut butter and chocolate either, have they?
That's gonna be a meme. People are gonna say I took a fucking load to the face after that one. Gotta give yourself the milk mustache too. No skim. There's no need to get skim. You can get like 2% or 1%. That's fine. No, non-fat milk is bullshit. Best kind of jelly. I'm not a purist or anything, but I think that like jams are better. Like the best peanut butter and jellies are typically made with like jams or preserve level jellies, like the chunkier kind of like fruitier jellies, which is what we usually get. Like the actual gelatinous grape jellies. I love a PB&J made with those. I will never turn it down, but it's not my preference. I like this. This has got that like, I don't know what this is, like raspberry or strawberry preserve type of shit. Strawberry, raspberry, any berry, really, blackberry, boysenberry. Like all of these make great preserves.
I think like the jelly is better for like English muffins and stuff.
Mm-hmm. True. More spreadable. Dingleberry, yeah. Might want to stay away from that. I can eat grape jelly. I can't remember the last time I did, but I can eat it because I was a kid. And it was very fucking common when I was a child to have grape jelly with peanut butter.
It was past your time, but they used to have these things called Uncrustables, where it'd be like
I've had them.
Yeah, you had. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I've had Uncrustables. Remember, I lived with a toddler for a lot of years. I watched a toddler grow from a baby to a little, you know, first or second grader. And, yeah. I used to call it the Uncrustable tax. That was one of the ways that I taxed the dude that was living with me, was he would get shit for that kid, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm eating a fucking Uncrustable. Suck my dick. I'm taking food off that kid's mouth. Give me an Uncrustable. And give me one of them goddamn fucking Otter Pops, too. In fact, I'm going to take 2 of those. I'm going to my room. So I've had an Uncrustable. You know what? You know what? So a lot of people don't know about Uncrustables. Freeze them. They're actually good if you freeze them, then take them out and let them thaw for like 20 minutes and eat them like that. They're cold. The peanut butter inside of them is still like a little bite to it. They're good like that, yo. Yeah, and a juice box.
Yeah. Fruit snacks too.
Of course. Fruit tax. We had a tax on the snacks. It got to the point where he started storing all the non-perishable shit like that in his room to keep me from grazing on it. But anything that fucking popped up, anything that found its way into my motherfucking cupboard got it. Oh yeah, my mom used to make me a banana and peanut butter sandwich. Not like the full Elvis deep fried version, but just like, just cut up a banana, lay down some peanut butter on the bread, throw down the banana on the peanut butter, and then... Oh, your shit electricity's back? Cool. Well, thank you for letting me know, Chelsea. Don't worry, I gotta apologize for that shit. We were just talking about how my electricity might go out today. We're under a wind advisory here. It's very breezy. The type of wind that might blow a fucking tree branch into a power pole at any moment. So that'll be funny. TJ gets his internet all back up and ready to go and shit. And then my shit goes out. Oh man, that was delicious. Thank you so much, honey. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, high winds there too. TJ said it was hot though. So it's like that hot fucking Louisiana muggy ass wind over there. I told him in my text when he told me that y'all's power was out, like, I hope that shit comes back and I hope it's not too hot, because I know how shitty that is. And he said, it's just hot as fuck here, which sucks. But yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Chelsea, thanks for the heads up. I'm going to go ahead and end shit and mosey my way in there because I'm sure TJ will be ready to go soon. I'm sure Scotty will be on his way soon. So, yep, thanks for hanging. See you next time. Bye.